Maybe I'm not engaged anymore.
Okay, I'm sorry, what?
What? I didn't say anything. I just said maybe I'm not.
Birdman won't like what Toni Braxton just revealed. At 57, the R&B icon is finally setting the record straight about her complicated past with the Cash Money boss.
You probably just should have eloped a long time ago.
You think you'd been happier?
We would probably still be together.
She just say what I think she said. Toni has been so secretive about her relationship, and she is now letting the cat out of the bag.
From their first quiet encounters in New Orleans during her comeback tour, to secret studio meetings in Miami, red carpet appearances that shocked fans, to that surprise engagement announcement on Braxton Family Values, fans have always wondered what really bonded the smooth-voiced diva and the tattooed rap mogul.
This finally it?
To get married.
About time. I knew it. You've been smiling lately.
Now, Toni's confession exposes the truth about the split, the money rumors, and what really ended their high-profile romance. When news first broke that Toni Braxton was dating Birdman, the internet almost didn't believe it. Toni was the R&B queen, known for soulful ballads and emotional vulnerability, while Birdman was the tattooed rap mogul who built Cash Money into a hip-hop empire.
B and I have decided to take a little shot at the romance, and we're dating.
They seemed like complete opposites, yet Toni once said in an interview that Birdman was a gentleman and one of her best friends, long before romance entered the picture.
He likes to do things to let me know he cares about me, like sending me flowers. I'm a flowers girl, what can I say?
The two met years earlier when they were both performing on the same bill. Birdman had always admired Toni's voice and elegance, while Toni said she admired how protective he was of the people around him. Their friendship slowly turned into something deeper. Birdman began appearing at her concerts, quietly supporting her in the background. By 2016, their relationship became public after Toni invited him on stage during a show and hugged him affectionately. Fans began speculating, and soon the rumors were confirmed. In 2018, Toni and Birdman announced their engagement. She shared the news on Instagram with a sparkling ring and a caption that read, "He's my man." For many, it was shocking. Some fans questioned what Toni saw in Birdman, while others celebrated the union as proof that love doesn't follow expectations. Toni didn't care about the criticism. She said Birdman made her feel safe, describing him as a tough guy with the kindest heart.
And even bigger congrats on your engagement. Let's see that ring, girl. Show us that ring.
Birdman, on his part, was private but supportive. He stood by Toni through her financial struggles and health issues. In interviews, he called her my ride or die.
She's a one-of-one and a very special talent in the music business, period.
Toni later revealed that she felt drawn to him because of his loyalty, a quality she had rarely found in the industry. Behind the cameras, though, their love story wasn't as smooth as it appeared. Toni was cautious. Having gone through bankruptcy, divorce, and a lupus diagnosis, she wasn't rushing into another emotional risk. Birdman's world was fast-paced and surrounded by controversy. His history with artists like Lil Wayne and the Cash Money disputes often made headlines, and that weighed on Toni. "I'm a planner, he's spontaneous," she once said on Braxton Family Values. He'll say, "Let's get married tomorrow," and I'll say, "Let's make a list first." Still, their chemistry was undeniable. They were seen together at award shows, family gatherings, and even in quiet moments on social media. Toni called Birdman her boo and told her sisters he was different from anyone she had ever dated. Birdman returned the energy, calling her his queen. Despite the differences in image and background, their connection seemed genuine.
They just came to say hi.
I got you.
I told you when you come in there.
But as their romance grew stronger, so did public scrutiny. Old clips and online conversations began resurfacing about Birdman's past, and soon, the internet turned its attention to a controversy that would put their love in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. For years, Birdman had been one of the most influential men in hip-hop. He helped launch the careers of Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki Minaj, shaping an entire generation of rap music. But despite his business success, there was always one viral moment that seemed to follow him everywhere he went: the clip of him kissing Lil Wayne on the lips.
And kissing Lil Wayne has always been a hot topic, to which not much explanation.
The video, recorded in the early 2000s, showed Birdman greeting Wayne like a father greets his son. To outsiders, it looked strange. To fans of Cash Money, it was part of the family dynamic. But on the internet, it became a joke that never died. Memes, headlines, and comments began to shape an entirely different narrative about Birdman. People who knew nothing about Cash Money's history started suggesting there was more to the story, even though both Birdman and Wayne repeatedly explained that it was nothing more than a father-son gesture.
You and Wayne had like a kiss thing going on.
Facts. I know you got a child. You better kiss him.
When Toni Braxton started dating Birdman, that old clip resurfaced again. It was shared across social media, often with harsh captions questioning Toni's decision. Some even accused her of ignoring red flags. Others defended her, pointing out that Toni had always been open-minded and strong-willed. She didn't care what the world thought of her relationship, but the pressure from public opinion was real, and it became a recurring topic in interviews and on her family's reality show. On Braxton Family Values, Toni's sisters often teased her about Birdman. They weren't disrespectful, but their curiosity was obvious.
You've been smiling lately? You know, your thong been showing lately?
Yes.
I'm so happy and excited for her. That is the worst kept secret in Hollywood.
Tamar Braxton once said on camera, "We just want to understand how this even happened." Toni responded with calm confidence, telling them that Birdman treated her with love and respect. She emphasized that what people saw online didn't reflect who he truly was in private. Still, the jokes and online comments didn't stop. Each time Birdman appeared at an event with Toni, there were fresh headlines and viral posts. Some media outlets went as far as to question whether Toni's clean, classy image could survive being attached to Birdman's street-heavy reputation. Yet Toni never hid him. She attended public functions with him by her side, often smiling and unbothered. Birdman also defended himself publicly. In one interview, he said, "Wayne is my son. I raised him. That's love, not disrespect." His directness didn't erase the years of rumors, but it reminded people how long they had twisted that story for entertainment.
Now, one of the hottest moments for me is when you walked on that stage. Like, Wayne was happy to see you, dog. He was like, "Yo, what's up?"
I know, homie.
It's
That
like,
makes
what's up?
be the joy of my life when I touch the stage with my son. I'm in heaven.
Toni understood that kind of misrepresentation all too well. She had lived through media scrutiny before, from bankruptcy headlines to health battles. So this wasn't new territory. But what no one saw was how the constant gossip began to affect their plans. Toni wanted a private, low-stress relationship, and Birdman was used to a world where everything was loud and fast. By 2019, small cracks started showing between them. They were both busy, both protective of their privacy, and the weight of public judgment began to take its toll. The kiss clip may have been old news to Birdman, but to Toni's fans, it was a fresh reason to question his character. Even though Toni defended him, insiders later revealed that it caused tension. She didn't like the constant reminders online, and she began pulling away from social media. That distance would soon grow even wider, leading to one of the most talked about disappearances of a celebrity wedding in recent memory. By 2018, fans believed Toni Braxton had finally found her happy ending. She had overcome heartbreak, illness, and financial struggles. And now she was engaged to Birdman. The announcement had come with a sparkling diamond ring and a promise that surprised everyone in the R&B world. Toni seemed genuinely in love, and Birdman looked proud to be by her side. They planned to marry within the year, but months passed with no wedding in sight. Toni, ever the perfectionist, admitted on Braxton Family Values that she was struggling to pick a date. She described herself as indecisive, saying she wanted everything to be perfect. Birdman, on the other hand, was spontaneous. He reportedly told her more than once that they should just do it and get married quietly. Toni hesitated, wanting her family to be involved and the moment to feel right.
The wedding's not a good reason because it's messing up my relationship a little bit. He's like, come on, Michelle, set a date.
Then came the first public sign of trouble. In late 2018, fans noticed that Toni was no longer wearing her engagement ring. Around the same time, Birdman posted a cryptic message on his Instagram story that simply said, "It's over." Toni followed with her own mysterious post about starting the new year fresh. Within hours, social media exploded with speculation that the couple had broken up. Some blamed long distance. Others pointed to the ongoing rumors that had followed Birdman for years. Toni later explained that she had lost her engagement ring while traveling. She admitted in an interview that she accidentally left her jewelry case on a plane, including the ring Birdman had given her. She was heartbroken, not only because of the ring's value, but because of its emotional meaning. Birdman reportedly told her not to worry, but the incident added strain to an already delicate situation.
Toni Braxton has been robbed of her enormous engagement ring from her fiancé, rap mogul Birdman. The 51-year-old took to Twitter to reveal that she forgot her Louis V train case on a Delta airline flight.
For a time, it seemed like they were done. Birdman removed all photos of Toni from his social media, and Toni kept quiet. In 2019, during an appearance on The Wendy Williams Show, Wendy asked Toni directly about the breakup. Toni smiled and said, "We're good, we're fine." But her tone suggested that things were more complicated than she wanted to admit on air. Behind the scenes, both were busy with their own lives. Toni was touring, promoting new music, and dealing with health concerns. Birdman was managing his record label and focusing on business. The physical and emotional distance grew, yet somehow, fate brought them back together. In early 2020, Toni shared a new photo that showed Birdman standing behind her at an event. The caption was short, but the message was clear: they had reconciled. Birdman confirmed it a few days later, telling a radio host, "That's my girl. We're solid."
She is a beautiful woman.
Very nice, beautiful. She all that to me.
Fans were surprised again, but this time they noticed something different. There was no talk of wedding plans, no new ring, no announcement. It was as if Toni and Birdman had decided that love in its simplest form didn't need a ceremony to prove itself. Still, many wondered what truly stopped the wedding. Some sources close to Toni said she wanted stability and quiet, while Birdman was still living in the public eye. Others believed her health and family issues made her put things on hold. In interviews, Toni hinted that she was protecting her peace, saying, "Sometimes, love doesn't need noise." The wedding never happened, but the bond between them didn't completely disappear. They kept in touch, occasionally appearing at the same events, always respectful. It was a relationship that defied Hollywood rules, a love story that flickered in and out of public view without explanation.
There's no date. We almost had a date. Well, we had 2 dates.
By the time the world began asking new questions about Toni's career and personal life, another story was resurfacing from her past, one that involved Oprah Winfrey, a painful interview, and a lesson that would stay with her forever. Long before Birdman, before the engagement, before the headlines about her health, Toni Braxton had already faced one of the toughest public humiliations of her life. It was the early 2000s, and she was sitting across from Oprah Winfrey, explaining why she had gone bankrupt at the height of her career.
B-R-O-K-E, broke?
Broke.
Like broke?
Like, no money.
No money.
Yeah.
Like net worth what? Negative.
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 She has filed for bankruptcy.
At that time, Toni had sold millions of records. Her songs Breathe Again, Unbreak My Heart, and You Mean the World to Me had made her one of the biggest R&B voices of the 1990s. But behind the glamour, she was broke. She had signed a contract early in her career that left her with very little profit after touring and promotion costs. By 1998, Toni filed for bankruptcy, shocking fans who assumed she was living like a superstar. When Oprah invited her on The Oprah Winfrey Show to talk about it, Toni expected empathy. Instead, she got one of the most uncomfortable interviews of her life. During their conversation, Toni tried to explain her situation, saying she bought a few luxury items to celebrate her success, including Gucci silverware and designer home decor. Oprah interrupted and asked, "Do you realize how ridiculous that sounds to people watching who can't pay their bills?"
Taking stock of her personal possessions, her baby grand piano, her Gucci silverware, her Porsche and Lexus. They're even counting her shoes and her Grammys. First of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware.
The audience laughed awkwardly, and Toni froze. In later interviews, she admitted that moment embarrassed her deeply. "I felt like I was being shamed on national television," she said years later. "I was already hurting, and it felt like I was being punished for being honest." The clip of Oprah's reaction has been replayed countless times online, often used as an example of how harsh the industry could be towards struggling artists. What most people didn't know then was how hard Toni's situation truly was. She wasn't reckless with money. Her record label's contract had left her with pennies for each album sold. Touring and performances helped, but by the time she paid everyone involved, including stylists, management, dancers, production, and little was left. She said she had to return leased cars and sell her home just to stay afloat.
And you can explain to us whatever you want to explain to us, but it would appear that even if you don't believe that you got the percentages you felt that you got, you still knew that there was a certain amount of money coming in. Exactly. And you overspent that amount of money.
After that Oprah interview, Toni's image took a hit. She said many people looked at her differently, assuming she had been careless with fame. In reality, she had been fighting a system that took advantage of young artists. The humiliation stayed with her for years. She even confessed that the experience made her cautious about who she trusted in media. During that dark period, Toni considered walking away from music altogether. Bills were piling up, and she was emotionally exhausted. At one point, she even thought about posing for Playboy to earn money. She later told VH1's Behind the Music that the idea wasn't about shock value, but survival. "I just wanted to take care of my family," she said. It took years for Toni to rebuild her confidence. When she finally returned with her album The Heat in 2000, it was both a comeback and a declaration of strength. She had learned how to manage her finances, negotiate better contracts, and protect her name.
It's okay, but it's all right.
I read that you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this.
The painful Oprah moment would follow her forever, but in hindsight, it became a turning point. It taught her resilience. She learned that public shame could either destroy you or make you stronger. Toni chose the second path, and just when it seemed she was standing tall again, life would test her once more. This time, not through money or fame, but through her health and the loss of someone she loved more than anything. Toni Braxton has lived most of her adult life under the spotlight, but few knew the private battle she fought for years. In 2008, she was diagnosed with lupus, an autoimmune disease that caused pain, fatigue, and forced her to slow down her career. She first learned of it after collapsing during a Las Vegas show.
You're living with lupus, and you have been for a long time.
A long time.
Doctors told her that her immune system was attacking her organs. Toni later called lupus a silent enemy that drained her energy and often sent her to the hospital for treatment. In 2022, she revealed that doctors found one of her heart arteries 80% blocked. It could have been a massive heart attack, she told People magazine. I wouldn't have survived if they didn't catch it. The experience became a wake-up call, shifting her focus to gratitude, family, and faith.
You guys know I have lupus, right? So I was on tour like 2 years ago, and I wasn't feeling my best. And he came out on every single date. I was like 22 dates, and every single show, he followed behind me on his tour bus.
That same year, Toni faced her hardest loss. Her sister Toni Braxton died after a private battle with cancer. Toni said she felt Tracy's spirit watching over her, even believing it saved her life. I think she told God, "Not yet. It's not her time," she said.
So it's a lot of fun. When I look at this project, I think of her with a smile on my face. We're going to dedicate this film, Lifetime and Night, to my sister Tracy. So she will always be with us no matter what.
The sisters had always shared a deep bond. Growing up in Maryland, they sang together before fame found Toni first. Despite disagreements on Braxton Family Values, she often said Tracy was the strongest of them all. Losing her changed Toni's outlook on everything. When you lose someone that close, you realize how short life really is, she said. Even with lupus and grief, Toni continues to work. She performs less often but sings with deeper emotion than ever. Fans say her voice now carries the weight of everything she has survived, which includes illness, heartbreak, and loss. Today, Toni Braxton remains one of R&B's most respected women, fragile yet powerful. Her story isn't about gossip, but endurance. A woman who lost almost everything more than once and still finds the courage to keep singing, believing that love and faith can rebuild anything.